Hey everyone and welcome to the show. Today, we're diving into the crazy, unbelievable, and totally strange world of crime. These stories are wilder than anything you could make up. Let's get started. Okay, let's start with a story that sounds like something silly. The Great Emu War of 1932. Imagine this. Western Australia, a vast and rugged landscape. Farmers are having a tough time, crops aren't growing, and who do they blame? A bunch of emus. These emus were not just a few birds here and there, they were everywhere, devouring crops and causing chaos. These weren't your normal emus though. They were relentless, moving in large groups and seemed almost unstoppable. We're talking 20,000 strong, huge, flightless birds causing trouble on the farms. They trampled over fields, leaving destruction in their wake. The farmers, not knowing what to do, asked the government for help. They were desperate and needed a solution fast. And what did the government do? Sent in the army. Yes, you heard that right. They sent soldiers to deal with the emu problem. They sent soldiers with big machine guns to fight these bird enemies. It was like a scene from a bizarre movie. You'd think it'd be an easy win, right? Nope. The emus were surprisingly agile and quick. The emus, surprisingly smart, split into smaller groups, making them hard to hit. They outmaneuvered the soldiers at every turn. After trying and failing a few times to control the emus, the Australian government gave up. The emus won. It was an unexpected victory for the birds and a humbling defeat for the humans. Now let's go back to 1963 in England for a crime that everyone was talking about, the Great Train Robbery. This was a time when the streets were bustling with life and the air was filled with a sense of post-war optimism. Yet, amidst this vibrant backdrop, a group of audacious criminals were plotting something that would soon capture the nation's imagination. This wasn't a simple robbery, this was a carefully planned operation like something from a movie. The meticulous planning involved months of preparation, with every detail scrutinized to ensure success. The robbers studied train schedules, security measures, and even the habits of the train staff. A gang of 15 robbers led by Bruce Reynolds pulled off one of the biggest heists ever. Reynolds, a charismatic and cunning leader, orchestrated the entire operation with military precision. His gang was a mix of seasoned criminals and skilled newcomers, each bringing their unique expertise to the table. Their target, a train carrying money from Glasgow to London. This train, known as the Royal Mail Train, was transporting millions of pounds in cash, making it a lucrative target for the robbers. They messed with the train signals, making the train stop in a secret spot. This remote location was carefully chosen to minimize the risk of being caught and to ensure they had enough time to carry out the heist without interruptions. They then took control of the train workers and stole bags of cash. The robbers were well prepared, using walkie-talkies to communicate and wearing gloves to avoid leaving fingerprints. How much did they get? A whopping £2.6 million, which is over £50 million today. This staggering amount of money was more than enough to make headlines and shock the entire nation. Everyone was amazed and angry. The audacity of the crime left people in disbelief, and the sheer scale of the heist made it a topic of conversation in every household. The police searched everywhere, and the story was in the news for weeks. The authorities launched one of the largest manhunts in British history, determined to bring the culprits to justice. Most of the gang got caught, but the leader, Bruce Reynolds, escaped to Mexico for a while. His escape added another layer of intrigue to the story, as he managed to evade capture for several years before finally being apprehended. The story of the Great Train Robbery is still famous today. It remains one of the most talked about crimes in British history, a testament to the daring and audacity of those involved. Let's jump ahead to 1990 in Boston for a crime that's still unsolved. The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum heist. Two thieves dressed as police officers pulled off the biggest art theft ever. They got into the museum at night, tied up the guards, and then robbed the place. They skipped over some really valuable stuff, taking specific paintings by famous artists. The stolen art was worth over $500 million. But here's the crazy part. The paintings were never found. The empty frames are still in the museum. The FBI has been working on the case for years, but no one knows who did it or where the paintings are. It's a big mystery. Chapter 4. The Antwerp Diamond Heist. A $100 million diamond heist. Ready for another heist story? This time we're going to Antwerp, Belgium, the diamond capital of the world. In 2003, some Italian thieves stole over $100 million worth of diamonds. The leader, Leonardo Notarbartolo, spent months learning about the building's security, using hidden cameras and even pretending to be a diamond seller. The heist was perfectly planned. The team turned off alarms and even cracked the vault's lock, which had 100 million possible combinations. They stole over 160 bags of diamonds and other valuables. Most of the gang got caught, but most of the diamonds were never found. Chapter 5, The D.B. Cooper Hijacking, the enduring mystery of the Skyjacker who vanished. Let's talk about a famous American mystery, the D.B. Cooper hijacking. It's 1971, Thanksgiving Eve. The hustle and bustle of holiday travel fills the air. A man calling himself Dan Cooper gets on a plane from Portland to Seattle. He seems like any other passenger, blending in with the crowd. He's wearing a suit, sunglasses, and has a briefcase. His demeanor is calm and collected, not drawing any undue attention. During the flight, Cooper tells a flight attendant he has a bomb and wants $200,000 and 4 parachutes. The flight crew is stunned, but follows his instructions. The airline gives him what he wants. The passengers are unaware of the drama unfolding. After landing in Seattle to get the money and let passengers off, Cooper makes the pilots fly towards Mexico City. The tension in the cockpit is palpable. Somewhere over the Pacific Northwest, Cooper jumps out of the plane with the money and disappears. The night is dark and the weather is stormy. No one ever found him. Did he survive? Where did he go? It's a mystery. The FBI launched an extensive manhunt, but no trace of Cooper was ever discovered. The case remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in American history. Chapter 6. The Brinks-Mat Robbery, the crime that became a legend. Here's another huge heist story. The Brinks-Mat Robbery of 1983. We're going back to England, to a warehouse near Heathrow Airport. But this wasn't a normal warehouse. It held a ton of gold worth £26 million. 6 robbers, who had inside information, broke into the warehouse, expecting to find cash. Instead, they found tons of gold. They took 3 tons of gold bars, diamonds, and cash. It was the biggest heist in British history at the time. Some of the robbers were caught, but the leader and most of the gold are still missing. Chapter 7, The Hatton Garden Heist. The Diamond Geezers and the Heist of the Century. Let's jump to 2015 for a heist that shows you're never too old for crime. The Hatton Garden Heist. The target was a vault in London's Diamond District. The robbers? A group of older criminals, some in their 60s and 70s. They used their experience to rob the place during Easter weekend. They drilled through a wall, got past alarms, and stole from many safety deposit boxes. They got away with £14 million worth of jewels, gold, and cash. Everyone was talking about these older guys pulling off such a big heist. Even though they made some mistakes, they were eventually caught. Chapter 8. The Banco Central Burglary, the $70 million underground heist. Let's go to Fortaleza, Brazil, for a heist that involved digging a really long tunnel. The Banco Central Burglary of 2005. This wasn't a normal bank robbery. These guys dug a tunnel. Pretending to be landscapers, they rented a place near the bank and said they were starting a plant nursery. But they were digging a tunnel. For 3 months they dug over 250 feet to the bank's vault. They put wood and plastic in the tunnel, and even added lights and air conditioning. Over a weekend they broke into the vault and stole $70 million. Some were caught, and some money was found, but the leader is still out there. Chapter 9. The Lufthansa Heist, the Mafia, Millions, and a Made Man's Downfall. Let's go back to 1978 for a heist that's famous from movies, the Lufthansa Heist. The leader was Jimmy Burke, a mobster. He put together a team of criminals. Their target, the Lufthansa area at JFK Airport, where they thought millions of dollars were kept. They were right. One night they robbed the place and stole almost $6 million in cash and almost $1 million in jewelry. This heist is famous from the movie Goodfellas, but after the robbery, things got bad. The FBI investigated and the robbers started fighting and killing each other. Chapter 10. The Mona Lisa Theft, the day the world's most famous smile disappeared. Let's end with a crime that shocked the art world. The Mona Lisa theft of 1911. Imagine, Paris, France, the Louvre Museum. One morning the Mona Lisa is gone. Everyone panicked. Who would steal such a famous painting? The investigation went everywhere with lots of suspects. For 2 years, no one knew where the Mona Lisa was. Then in 1913, an art dealer got a letter from a man who said he had the painting. The thief, Vincenzo Perugia, a former museum worker, had been hiding the Mona Lisa in his apartment. He was caught, and the Mona Lisa went back to the Louvre. Outrow joined the conversation. What blew your mind? Well, there you have it. 10 of the craziest crimes that actually happened. From emus outsmarting the army to the Mona Lisa disappearing, these stories show that real life can be stranger than fiction. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more crazy stories. Tell me in the comments which story you thought was the wildest. See you next time.